If you're thinking about moving to Jacksonville, one of the biggest questions you probably have is, can we actually afford to live there? And honestly, that's a great question. The answer is about a lot more than just the price of your home. When you're planning a move, you have to think about the property taxes, insurance, utilities, groceries, gas, childcare, and all those little monthly expenses that really add up. We'll talk about housing, utilities, insurance, transportation, groceries, and a few expenses that surprise people after they move here. And stick around until the end because I'm going to share one expense that catches almost every relocation buyer off guard. If we haven't met yet, I'm Lana. I'm a Jacksonville native and local real estate advisor, helping families relocate to Northeast Florida. Every week, I share what it's really like to live here. So if that's what you're looking for, make sure you subscribe. Let's start with the biggest monthly expense for most people, housing. So the good news is that Jacksonville still offers a wide range of options. So depending on your lifestyle, budget, whether you are looking for a townhome, a new construction, or something with a little more land, you'll find neighborhoods at a variety of price points. And of course, your monthly payment depends on things like your purchase price, down payment, interest rates, taxes, insurance, and whether your community has an HOA or CDD. So one thing I always tell buyers is don't focus on the list price. Your monthly payment is what matters most. Sometimes a home that's priced a little higher actually has lower monthly costs than another property because of taxes, insurances, or HOA fees. So that's why it's really important to look at the full picture. The second thing you want to talk about are property taxes, HOA fees, and CDD fees. So this is where a lot of people get confused. Florida property taxes are generally reasonable compared to many states, but they vary depending on where you buy and whether the home is your primary residence. If you are relocating here full-time, you'll likely qualify for Florida's homestead exemption, which can help you reduce your taxable value and provide long-term savings. Now, let's talk about HOA and CDD fees because I get asked about these almost every day. A HOA is a homeowners association fee that helps maintain community amenities and common areas. A CDD or community development district fee, it helps pay for infrastructure in many newer communities. So not every neighborhood has one, so it's something we always will review before we make an offer. Some buyers are perfectly happy paying those fees, and it means access to resort-style pools, fitness centers, walking trails, and community events. However, others would rather avoid them and prioritize a larger lot or an established neighborhood. Neither is right or wrong. It just depends on what fits your lifestyle the best. Now, let's talk about one of the biggest expenses people forget to budget for: homeowners insurance. Insurance is one of the first things relocation buyers ask me about, and it's for a good reason. Because we're in Florida, homeowners insurance can be very different than what you are used to in other parts of the country. Your premium depends on home's location, whether it's in a flood zone, wind mitigation features, and the insurance company you choose. So I encourage buyers to get insurance quotes early in the process instead of waiting until the last minute. This will help understand your true monthly cost before you fall in love with the house. Let's talk about monthly utilities. For most homeowners, you'll typically budget for electricity, water and sewer, internet, trash collection, and electric bills tend to be higher during the summer months because of air conditioning. But many people are pleasantly surprised by how mild utility costs can be during the cooler months. And that's when AC is not running as much. One thing I always tell buyers is that newer energy efficient home can make a noticeable difference in your monthly electric bill. But what about groceries? Overall, groceries prices are similar to what you'll find in many parts of the country. Of course, it depends on where you shop and your family's habits, but most relocation buyers don't experience a huge shock when it comes to groceries. Gas prices can fluctuate, but Jacksonville is very spread out, so your commute plays a big role in monthly transportation costs. If you're used to living somewhere very walkable, that's definitely something to keep in mind. Over here, most people rely on their cars. Next thing we want to talk about is childcare and family expenses. If you're moving with kids, childcare may become one of your biggest monthly expenses. Costs obviously vary differently depending on the age of your child and the type of care you are looking for. So I always encourage families to research their options early, especially if they need daycare or preschool. However, on the bright side, one thing families love about Jacksonville is that many of the best activities are inexpensive or even free, which are beach days, parks, nature preserves, playgrounds, farmers markets, and community events. So living here often means spending more time outdoors without spending a lot of money. And as a mom, that's something I really appreciate. Now, let's talk about the expense that surprises everyone. Remember that expense I mentioned at the beginning? For most people, it's not utilities, it's not groceries, and it's not even insurance. It's simply how much larger Jacksonville is than they expected. People often underestimate commute times. You might see two homes that are both in Jacksonville, but they can easily be 40 or 45 minutes. So that's why choosing the right neighborhood is just as important as choosing the right house. Where you live affects your daily routine, your commute, and ultimately your quality of life. So, is Jacksonville affordable? For many families, yes, especially when compared to some of the higher cost areas people are relocating from. But affordability isn't just about the purchase price. It's about understanding your monthly expenses and choosing the neighborhood that fits both your budget and your lifestyle. So if you're thinking about making the move, I'd love to help you build a personalized budget based on neighborhoods you are considering. Feel free to contact me at 904-445-8501. I also put together a free Jacksonville relocation guide that covers popular communities, commute times, and what it's really like to live here. So you'll find the link in the description below. What's one cost you are most curious about before moving to Jacksonville? I'd love to answer it in a future video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.